Welcome to the Trailchasers podcast.
This episode is presented by Nexen Tire. If you want to get the most traction possible on or off-road, go to nexentireusa.com and get a set for your rig. And the show is brought to you by Icon Vehicle Dynamics. If you want a holistic approach to your vehicle's performance, go check out what they have for your rig at iconvehicledynamics.com.
Today on the show, Jose talks about the Defender. I think it's like a British off-roader of some sort. Has like airbags or something like that. Whatever. And we talk about Vampies. Yeah, they're like a cross between a zombie and a vampire. Vampies. Cool enough to hang out with.
Hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Isn't there a shop for Vampies?
Yeah, but it doesn't work yet.
It's time for the Trailchasers podcast. Are you ready? Let's begin. Trailchaser, you're out there to chase your adventure. Trailchaser, our time is now. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure.
All right, now that we're 45 minutes into this conversation, we're going to go ahead and get started.
50.
We are live on YouTube, and I'm in the studio. We got Matt and Jose on Google Hangouts on video chat, and we are streaming, it appears, because Tim has already started making fun of me, and that means the day has started. It means it's time to get going, and Adventure Centric helped us out with my cockeyed stream. He reminded me to flip the stream so that it wasn't horizontal. Mirrored. So I got that figured out. Thank you very much. How you guys doing, man?
Good.
Yeah, doing all right. Monday.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was a rough Monday at work, but what are you gonna do? There's always Tuesday. Right? Is that positive? Does that sound positive, man?
Yeah. It's always tomorrow, right?
Doesn't matter how crappy it is. I got to go back.
Has anybody ever said there's always Tuesday? Ever?
Yeah, at least we got Tuesday, right?
Oh man. But
If you had a shit Monday, I guess you might be likely to have said there's always Tuesday. I don't know.
well, you guys are going out of the house every day, so it's your days aren't blending in. I mean, someone I think a comedian made a comment that there are no Saturdays anymore. Like it's just all the same day.
I'm going to quote another Primus line. The funny thing about weekends when you're unemployed, they don't mean quite so much. Except you get to hang with your working friends. That's it.
Oh man. So yeah, it's been, we are recording on April 13th. It is, week 4 or whatever of apocalypse lockdown. Apocalypse down. We so far everybody that I know is fairly healthy. We did have one cousin, Matt, on your wife's side of the family. We had a cousin and his wife that ended up in the hospital with COVID-19, and apparently they're recovering. So a little bit closer to home than I want it to be, but they live pretty far away. I mean,
I had a coworker's grandmother pass away.
No.
This weekend. Yes.
So wow. Yeah.
So that hits. That's less than 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever in that math. I don't mean to make it light, but that's right around the corner, really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's still going on. We're still trying to do our part to stay isolated as much as possible. Tammy and Presley are home all day long, and between the three of us, I cannot believe how much we can destroy a house. Like we did Sunday morning, we did apocalypse level cleaning. I'm talking scrubbing floors, pulling stuff out of cupboards. Like it was clean. Why
would you clean for the apocalypse?
I don't know, just to make sure that
I knew the apocalypse was coming. I wouldn't even do laundry.
It's like wearing clean underwear in case you get in a car accident. But
you know what? Nobody's going to take care of you. It's just you're just going to rot the side of the road. Who cares? Nobody's taking your underpants.
but anyway,
sorry.
my point was we cleaned a lot, and by Sunday night it was a complete disaster again. So, or actually it was Saturday. We cleaned Saturday. By Sunday night it was a complete disaster. But other than that, everything else is going well. We're doing okay. We got a handful of topics to touch base on. We'll also take some input from the peanut gallery in the YouTube feed if anybody's got some input. But let's start off with a topic Jose wanted to bring up. Talk to me about this Land Rover you're all excited about.
Well, last week when we had that roundtable discussion with all the other people on the hangout,
Mm-hmm.
There was a question asked, like, what new off-road you're most excited about? And for me, it's this one, the 2020 Land Rover Defender, because it's the first time in a long time. I think the last year they stopped selling it here was 96 or 97.
Yeah.
Because they weren't meeting safety, like airbags and stuff, safety standards.
And I loved those Defender 90s, those top off Jeep-esque Defenders were so freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, as a dummy, what made them so cool? Were they that capable? Did they just look cool?
All of the above.
Elaborate.
So the Land Rover has a long storied history of off-road performance in everywhere except America.
I know, but I always think of like Land Rover, like when you talk about that legend, I think of like Safari in Africa. You see like movies where, okay, but we're talking about this Defender 90, this last thing that was sold in the United States. Isn't this like a square looking thing?
Yeah. Look it up. It was a square top
I
off.
can't even click a link that you guys sent me and make it function.
Yeah, that was like
and I think I'm going to save that. That's going to be the
That's
end
why
of
we
the
started
show.
late.
That's going to be the end of the show. Is Matt trying to figure out how to click a hyperlink in a document? But they're super capable. They look super cool. They were very, very expensive. Land Rover here in America is the more luxury brand than anything. And to Jose's point, they stopped selling the Defender 90 here in the States for a long time.
Yeah, I mean it was a farm truck initially. It was created to be a farm truck. It was just an aluminum body. It was a body on frame chassis, solid front axle, solid axles, front and rear. It was just 4-wheel drive, low transfer case. It was just like what you would want in an off-road rig, right? But they stopped selling it here, and now in 2020 they've come back. They've they hadn't changed that Defender in I don't know how many years, dude. It was like
decades,
30 or 40, Yeah, it was like 40 years. It remained untouched. Like obviously they upgraded the interior and stuff, but the same body panels for the most part, same design. But this 2020 Defender, it's kind of either infamous or famous because it's nothing like what the original Defender was. It's not a body on frame anymore. It's a unibody. So it's apparently from what Defender or Land Rover says, it's the strongest body they've ever built. So it's stronger than the body on frame. I don't know how many. They specifically said how many times stronger it was, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Well, that's kind of important.
Yeah, I know. It shows you how.
Well, but I mean the unibodies. I mean unibodies have been around for a long time, and they're
like the Jeep XJs,
the XJs, the WJs. They're all all the Grand Cherokees are unibodies. Even the small crossovers are unibodies. I mean, there's not
cars. Most cars
are unibody. A lot of SUVs, if not most SUVs, are unibody. So I don't think that's if it's stronger than your standard unibody, that means it's stronger than anything we've wheeled so far. Looking at this post you sent us, it's got 11 inches of ground clearance stock. It easily fits 33-inch tires.
So that's more than the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon.
Yep. It comes with a factory snorkel and has the class-leading wading depth as far as water crossings are concerned.
Yeah, it's just under 3 feet.
Whoa!
Wow.
Man, can you? That's like 3 times more than the Renegade can go through.
The Renegade made it though.
I know. I know.
Come on.
I know. 18-inch wheels. It looks like it comes with a worn winch. I don't know if that's probably an option. Factory options includes the snorkel, the winch. But I mean, just on paper, those stock specs are, to your point, are on par, if not exceeding a Wrangler Rubicon.
Yeah, so on paper, you'll look at it and it hits all the marks, right? I mean, it has a great approach angle, it has a great departure angle, has a great breakover angle. I mean, but the biggest controversy is that now it's, unibody, and also it's a front and rear independent suspension. So it's not even rear solid axle anymore, or not even a solid axle. It's all independent suspension on airbags. So, I mean, it's not even coil sprung. It's on, airbags. So you can raise and lower the truck as needed. And I don't know, that it's just, I wanted to talk to you guys about it because, I mean, traditionally an off-road rig is you want a body on frame, you want, a solid front axle, solid rear axle, and you want, lockers, front and rear if possible. This new Defender doesn't have any of those.
It has lockers available.
It has a rear locker and center locker, right? It does. But
so how does it manage that if it's not IFS, but
it is IFS and IRS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but how do you do that? How do you still manage lockers?
The ZR2 is IFS, ZR2. And it has a locker. Yeah. So in the same thing with the Toyota that had the A-Track, in the differential in the front end, even though it's not an axle, there's still gears in there, and it just locks up those gears the same way. The same way.
I'm sorry. There's like a pinion gear or something that pops out electronically.
Yeah.
It's an electronic locker. Yeah,
I see. Yep. Okay.
And then the way the airbags work is like once it senses one wheel like going up, it lets air out of that one that's articulating, and it inflates the opposite side. So it's kind of mimicking what a solid axle would do, right?
Yeah,
that's what it's trying to do electronically with the airbags. So as one wheel goes up, it deflates that one, and then it inflates the other side, so it can articulate. And that's what their software is like. I mean,
but when you think about, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
go
off.
ahead.
When I think about anything with software, I kind of like that my truck's just super dumb and it's just 5 gears, and it's the only thing that's electronic is like the locker in the back, like
right.
Everything else is just gears, and it's very mechanical. I kind of like that. It seems more sturdy to me than software. Obviously I can't even open a link to whatever you guys send me, so maybe that's why I'm a little suspicious. But are you at this point now, with the way the off-roading world is, do you guys feel I mean, Cody, you talk about your 9-speed transmission or whatever.
There's nothing
10 speed.
You don't have any. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have any concerns over the software issues and stuff like that?
I did originally. I was originally thinking that, I wanted the manual transmission for transfer case, the manual shift for the transfer case, and, all of the dumb stuff that is less likely to fail. But we're at a point now where you're not going to get that. You're if you want anything newer than 5 years old, you're not going to get that. So if you're stuck on the manual operation of gearing and transfer cases and all that other stuff, then your choices are limited to an older vehicle.
Yeah, you're going to buy an older truck at this point.
Yeah,
I guess to be a little more specific, I think of like the 80s where you were still. I'm just talking about automotive industry. You were transitioning from like vacuum controlled distributors and carburation and things like that into electronics, and there was a bad transition for cars.
Well, I would tell you that the vacuum stuff didn't work as well either. I had, at least on my experience with Jeeps,
but there was like lowered expectations. All of a sudden now you're raising okay, we're raising the level and now we can do things electronically back then as opposed to vacuum tubes. And when they failed, it wasn't like, oh, you just seal up some tubes or find the leak out on the field, out on the street, in the trail, wherever you were. Vacuum leak is a vacuum leak. That's still mechanical. If your Defender has some funky software issue and you're out and about, you're hosed. I mean, what are you going to pull out a laptop?
Yeah,
and,
but that's the same.
Program it or whatever.
Tim makes the comment about the your Frontier having EFI.
It has a computer in it now.
At this point, everything, whether it be your transfer case or anything, at this point we are all mercies to the black box, right? So
not me.
Well, unless you're Jose. But that's my point. If you're driving anything newer than 20 years old, you have a vehicle that has a black box somewhere, and it's controlling at least some component of your vehicle. So to your point, Matt, if any of those components fail, you're hosed regardless.
That's my point. Like Tim was saying, electronic fuel ignition or whatever, that's been around for decades now. So nobody's worried about that. I'm talking about the off-road capability of this Defender with these airbags and all this other stuff. What are they charging for this vehicle?
Dude, I was looking.
Built one.
Oh, you built one.
I built one, right? The way I would want it with all the specific options I would want, like the rear locker, center locker.
Yep.
It was $65K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60. Okay. But okay, Jose, we laugh at that. That is not that far off for a JL Rubicon or Gladiator Rubicon.
Yeah.
Right. That's right there. If you're looking for off-road performance and luxury and all of the bells and whistles, that's the price you're at. You think that Ram Rebel is going to be less than $65,000 or the F-150 Raptor? No. I mean, that level of vehicle is $60,000 and plus.
Right. I mean, and I'm so torn on it because, like, one side of me wants to keep it super traditional, like, manual transfer case, solid axles, body on frame, like that's the hardcore, right? But I'm also like, dude, technology, it's 2020, like technology's come a long way. Airbags, like they've been in, big rigs use them for hundreds of thousands of miles, right? Like it's a proven technology, but it's like if one of those airbags go out in the field, like you're gonna be limping home. Like it's not a quick fix. There's no quick fix for that.
Yeah, But again, I go back to I had an XJ that had both my CJ and my XJ had vacuum tubes for the EGR valve and the carburetor and stuff.
Yeah.
Always had leaks, always had problems. I was always chasing them down. And then my XJ, I found this out the hard way. The way they did the 4-wheel drive, there was a vacuum operated diaphragm that would push a coupler sleeve over the passive side of the axle to create
that diaphragm rip.
Yeah. Well, no. The vacuum, the vacuum hose. I didn't know it was a vacuum thing. I didn't know exactly how it worked. And the vacuum hose broke and I didn't have any vacuum hoses. I had no 4-wheel drive. Now, granted, to your point, Matt, once I figured that out, it's easier to troubleshoot and fix. I don't need a laptop or a service center, but
duct tape.
Yeah, but I do think, I mean, those old vacuum tubes would get water in them and the diaphragms would break. There's just as many problems. I personally think that I would trust a DDC, direct digital control, electronic component more than a vacuum tube. The only thing I would trust more than the DDC is an actual mechanical lever that had a cable connected from one end to the other.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm like, there's very few trucks in the world that have just straight up, like there's a 70 series Land Cruiser, like that they don't sell here, but it has cable actuated lockers, front and rear, like actual cable. It has a diesel engine that has no like EFI in it. It's straight up mechanical. It has solid front, like it's totally like
the MOG or whatever.
Unimog?
No, it's a Land Cruiser. I don't know if Unimogs have those. Yeah, I don't know if they have that same system as well. I know they have diesel engines too, but
it just seems like this Defender is kind of stretching the boundaries or reaching forward, and maybe it's a good thing, the IFS, RFS, all that stuff. But would you want to be the first to wheel. It's just like the Tesla. You know, do you want to take that thing out and wheel that mess? You know,
that depends on your. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just gonna say. So Land Rover, they really they send out journalists like from different from different sites and magazines and stuff. They send them on a 3-day trip, like a real trip
in Namibia,
Africa.
Yeah,
in Namibia, and they went through some pretty technical stuff. Like it was like a legit test, and it did well. Like what they all said, like the common theme was the airbags are great when you're going over those like corrugated roads, like because it soaks it up, dude. It does have a little bit, like it doesn't flex as good as a truck with solid axles would do. But I mean, look at the King and the Hammers trucks. You have IFS, IRS trucks, left and right. Like that's the new thing.
Yeah, and Matt, to your point, I think it really depends on how you feel about the Land Rover line. My experience with Land Rover was the company I worked for had a Range Rover. The person that owned the company prior to that owned the Range Rover. When they sold the company, the car came with it. I had to drive that thing for a couple weeks while my vehicle was getting ordered. And every freaking light on the dashboard came on. It like buttons didn't work. It was a weird. I didn't really enjoy driving it. Now that's not to say that it's a representation of all Range Rovers or Land Rovers, but in the States they have a reputation for being finicky and troublesome, which I find interesting because if you go anywhere else in the country, they're like rock solid. Everybody loves them.
Yeah, that's where that saying comes. If you want to go out into the bush, take a Land Rover. If you want to come back home, take a Land Cruiser.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the person that has $65,000 for their off-road toy, they have options. They have the Land Rover, they have the Gladiator, they have the JL, they have now the full size Raptor and Ram Rebel. Yep. So I don't know that they're going to be able to steal much of that market.
I mean, what's their competition really? Like, what's it's a 4-door, it's a SUV, off-road centric. I mean, besides the 4Runner.
How does it do in mall parking lots? It's
gonna kill it.
Oh yeah, it'll rock. It's gonna be the ultimate overlander of South Orange County.
Yeah. Oh, right there.
The Irvine Lake Forest area.
Millions of people down there.
Yeah.
They all got money.
It's gonna be. And I think it looks cool. I think if they.
I'll take your word for it. I couldn't open the link. So. Is it square-ish?
It's square-ish. Yeah,
it's square-ish.
I think what it is there's that mystique to it, right? Like you see the Land Rover, you see the Defender in movies, you see it like all over. It has that mystique of like adventure.
Dude, Beverly Hills 90210, bro.
Exactly. Did they have a Defender?
Yeah. What's his Brian Green? I forget what his character was in Beverly Hills 90210. Yeah, we're talking 1990-ish. He had one of those forest green Defender 90s. It was awesome. I wanted the yellow one. He had the forest green one, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You went and you watched that stupid show because that's where the chicks were. Don't leave me hanging.
Nobody cares. Like you're arguing. I'm just going to leave that where it is. Because I don't think anybody cares about 90210 except for people of our age. Jose doesn't even care.
I know. Jose doesn't even know.
Right behind us. And he's like, whatever.
The peach. All I got to say is the peach pit.
That's the peach pit.
That's the only thing he can reference. Peach pit.
No, I'm Dylan. What was his name? Right, Dylan?
Dylan McKay?
Yeah, right. He died. Didn't he get shot or something?
The actor did?
Or his car blew up?
The actor did?
No. Like in the show. Oh, I know he's dead. I know he died for real too.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name, but
no.
Yeah, he's gone. He died last year.
Crazy. So bottom line, are you buying one, Jose?
Look, like I said, if I had $65K, I don't know if I'd want to experiment with the Land Rover. It's too risky. I'd rather buy.
Sorry, go ahead, Jose.
Dude, at work, not at work, on my own free time, I do a lot of window shopping on vehicles. And I think I've picked it down to like 3. It would be a newer like 200, the 200 series Land Cruiser, like a newer one, the newest one.
Yep.
A Jeep Rubicon Wrangler, like a 4-door, or the ZR2.
Wow, ZR2.
ZR2s are so cool, dude. I think I'd get it with the diesel option.
No, I gotta pre-run that thing if I want to.
That's the thing, though. You can't pre-run with that diesel motor.
No. Well, you could pre-run better without it. So, yeah, I still love that ZR2, but you know what? We're talking. I'm going to shift it over to me. I think I still got I'm infatuated with the Gladiator still. So I had so much fun in that thing back in August.
Yeah,
dude, right now they're having 84 months, 0% interest.
105 decades, so you don't have to pay any interest.
Exactly. But you still have to make the payment for the car. You still have to make the principal payment. So no interest doesn't help anybody.
It's free money.
Speaking of which, there was a post back and forth, and I don't know if anybody from Redlands Jeep is listening, but they had posted some stuff. They tagged the Trailchasers in a post, and started some commenting, and they were like, let me know when you're ready to buy a real vehicle. And I said, let me know what the trade-in value is on my kidney and my firstborn child, and then we can talk about it.
I'll tell you, your kidney, not much.
Dude, what do you mean my
yours
kidney?
Is pristine, dude.
Mine is clean. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not worried about. It's just like genetics, essentially. Because you already got bad Achilles.
Oh, I got bad everything, dude. I'm
fatty liver.
I am not worth much on the black market as far as body parts are concerned. But I would agree, Matt. I think if we were in that 65K range looking for a vehicle, I would definitely steer towards the Gladiator. I think that Gladiator with the Icon kit that we drove at the ranch was amazing, was absolutely amazing. And it's even though the Gladiator is a fairly new platform, it's a Jeep. And it's a proven Jeep built on a JL. I would say that your chances of being happier way better with the Gladiator than they would be the Land Rover. Just based on my opinion, that I would absolutely go with the Gladiator over this vehicle for the same price.
I would definitely go with the Rubicon Wrangler. The thing about the Jeep is it's off-road. It's built for off-road. It's specifically built to go off-road, right? Yeah, it has everything you want on it, and you can put 35s on it like from the factory. You don't even have to lift it. It comes ready to go. If
I had 65K, I'd buy my Ranger for 30. I'd take the other 35 and go buy a 1970. No, listen. Then I'd take the other 35 and I'd go buy a 1970 Ford Bronco, fully restore it. Then I would have all of the electronics in the Ranger, and then all of the like old school mechanic leaf spring suspension, solid axles in the Bronco.
Do you think 35K is going to get you a restored Bronco?
Not restored. No. I'd have to restore it myself.
No way. It'll get you
35K gets you a tub. Yeah,
Bronco.
Gets you a tub at this point. Yeah, I think 20K can get you a running Bronco that looks like crap.
Right. Exactly.
Those are unibody, by the way.
What? The old 66 to 77 Broncos are unibody?
Yeah.
Huh, I did not know that. I thought they were body on frame.
I thought you were all Ford no matter what. Dude.
Encyclopedia Jose coming through again, man. Encyclopedia Jose. So, how does this compare to the 2021 Nissan Frontier?
The 2020, I don't know. I saw a lot of videos I saw 2 videos on the 2020 Frontier that has more horsepower than your
class leading.
That's awesome.
Leading 8-speed,
9-speed.
I thought it was 8.
No, 9.
Okay, I'm not going to doubt Encyclopedia Jose.
No,
but if what I hear about that drivetrain, and then obviously why wouldn't they transfer that into the new body style? It's probably going to be pretty rad. but we'll see. I'm not gonna pump it up too much.
Well, the Nissan Nation podcast just joined, so they probably have some feedback. I'd be willing to bet that the reason, or I read an article, the reason they're putting the new drivetrain in the 2020 is to give it some time on the road for the 2021 model release. I mean, at this point, what else are they going to do to the 2020? I mean, it's a 300-year-old vehicle with the same squirrel cage in the front that it some random.
But you know what? Those same squirrels back in 2005 are still running around today.
Oh,
you can't beat with a proven product.
And the Nissan Nation podcast on YouTube feed says that they have pics of the 2021 Frontier. So we're going to have to go check that out. If you're interested in the 2021 Frontier, go check out the Nissan Nation podcast. And they do a lot of YouTube stuff. So you can check them out.
Correction. Tim corrected me. They are the first gen Broncos are body on frame. I'm sorry.
Ha. Encyclopedia Jose fails. Thank you, Tim.
Hey, dude,
I appreciate that.
They're Coors Lights, not White Claws.
But I mean, going back to, $65K for a Defender versus, let's say, $35-40 for the 2021 Frontier, you know what you're going to get. I think even with a new 21 Frontier, even though it's a new body, new platform, you know what you're going to get. I would still put my money on that than the Land Rover.
I would. That's pretty obvious to me. But I think just as far as the suspension, that Frontier is going to have a solid reputation from my point of view. I don't know about the Defender. I mean, especially if it hasn't been sold in our country for however many years,
23 years or something. No, and I listened to the Nissan Nation podcast when they had one of the other famous YouTuber guy. They were talking about the 2021 Frontier. Dude, this thing shares the same transmission as the new Titan. Like, it's the exact same thing. So, I mean, you're already getting like a super beefy powertrain. Like, that thing's going to be reliable.
Super beefy. Just like me.
Yeah.
I know. We need to get Matt that custom license plate. Super beefy.
Moss beef.
No, that's Tyler's Moss beef.
Hot beef?
Hot beef injection.
No, dude, I'm like, so if I'm car shopping, I car shop every day, but someone else doesn't want to buy a car in this house. I want to hold out to.
Why is Damien holding out?
Yeah, come on, Damien.
I don't know, dude. We don't see eye to eye on things.
He should be on the same page as you,
dude. I thought he was gonna have my back on this thing.
Nope.
No.
Right.
I'm really interested on what the 2021 Frontier is going to be because, Nissan has they haven't updated that thing in so long, and I think the demand is there for like all the trucks, mid-size trucks. They all have an off-road version. They're all pretty decent, right? It's a great starting point. Even the Pro 4X now is a great starting point. But I think Nissan has been listening. They're gonna probably. I hope they swing it out of the park with the new one.
I agree. I agree. If you are if you're in the market for a mid-sized truck, I mean, next year is going to be pretty good year. I mean,
it's going to be pretty packed. Yeah, the Bronco's coming out.
You know what? I see these comments like, "Oh, this truck shifts so smooth." What if I like that it shifts hard? Like, yeah, like it means I'm getting after it or it gets me pumped up. What if I like that? Everybody's like, "Oh, dude, I got 150 gears. I can't even tell. I can hardly feel acceleration." Well, that's boring. I like the fact that I got one gear, it's short, and then it shifts quick, and it's like
it throws your head back.
Yeah, it like shifts hard because I got a lead foot. And if I get a little chirp going into second, used to brag about that back in the day. Used to brag about chirping gears.
Yeah, and then you got through puberty. You got through puberty and became an adult, and now...
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Your car was a shit if you could chirp third gear, dude.
Oh, dude, you were the
If you could
man.
chirp third, you're like, holy shit.
That's right. That's right. People talked about, hey, you see that car right there? You see that 72 Dart? That shit ain't chirping third. But, that was one of my first cars.
My Ford
people
Escort.
talk about those cars.
My Ford Escort wasn't chirping third, I don't think, unless it was raining.
No, unless it was a stick and you were holding.
It was a stick, and it was raining, and I was going into a hard left turn.
Yeah, exactly.
And the tires were already bald from before. That's the only way that's happening.
But that counts. I mean, we grew up in Montclair in Ontario. That counts. Because we were broke.
Yes, we were broke. All right. Well, cool. I want to talk a little bit about some stuff coming up from last week. So you guys, I don't know how many people stuck around, but we tried to do a live feed last week with Matt, Jose, and I, and a bunch of other people from Icon, from Expedition X Off-Road, DeMello, Jillian. It was great. Like, we tested it in the morning and it went really well, and I thought for sure it was going to work. And we went to run the feed at night and it just crashed. It just didn't work. And it was an epic failure from my perspective. But fortunately, we continued with the live stream. I mean, with the recording, and we got the group to answer a bunch of questions, and I felt like the episode was really good. So, I mean, it wasn't a total loss, but that was a catalyst. Matt, Jose, and I have been talking about doing a lot more live stream stuff. Even before the apocalypse, we were talking about it. We want to do more video, more live stream, more stuff. And we come to realize that the good old workhorse under the desk here is not going to cut it much longer. So what's
his name?
Well, he doesn't have a name. I think we're just gonna call him the good old workhorse.
Sorry.
But the machine that we've been the Chernobyl box.
Yeah.
You guys have heard us talk about that, where the Chernobyl box every once in a while will ramp up and trying to keep up with what we're doing, and one of us is going to
desk vibrates.
The desk vibrates and lifts off the ground.
Like we're having a stage 4 earthquake or something.
and for a while there, Jose was concerned because it was sitting right in his nether regions, right, pointing in the right direction.
This way, yeah, it was Christmas time. Every recording session.
Jose didn't need a Brazilian wax because every Tuesday he was smooth.
Yeah, exactly. Every Monday night was a refresh.
So after last week, I pulled the trigger and bought a bunch of components for a new computer. We talked about it. You can see in the studio here, there's a whole stack of computer parts ready to build a new streaming machine. And what's interesting about this community is I freaking love this community. Is we talked about it the last couple weeks about needing a new computer, and the surprising thing is that somebody that works for a large computer component manufacturer listens to this show.
I'm very surprised that we have a listener in that demographic.
Well, we talked about it, so I'll get to that in a minute. So we have a listener that's in the computer parts world, and he reached out and said, "Hey, I heard you talking about needing a computer. Let's have a conversation." So today we had a really, really good conversation, and one of the questions was about, like, how did you find our show? And he had said that he likes to go off-roading. He does his work, he does gaming, he does all that, but he also goes off-roading and camping, and he's been listening to the show. And I think that there is a lot more crossover than we think. You think about all these people that are doing YouTube channels and social media. They all need computing horsepower to build those videos and process those pictures and all that stuff. And anybody that's doing any of that stuff, everything is done on computers nowadays. If it's not your cell phone, it's a computer. And so it looks like we are going to be having some conversations with them about proceeding, and they are going to help us get better at this, because flat out we suck. I mean, it doesn't work all the time. We have some hits and misses, and I want to be able to be consistent and capable to get things up and running.
Do they realize the anchor that I bring to the table? We haven't even as far as computer capability, and I suck at computer knowledge and whatever. Like, it probably needs more processing power just by me being associated with the show. They realize that. I'm hoping.
We made a disclosure during the negotiations that you wouldn't touch the new machine.
Okay. Good. Good. So I don't have to.
Yeah, they were like, as long as Matt doesn't touch it, we're good. So the funny thing is, I set up a phone call with them, a conference call. So I'm sitting here in my office in the studio doing the call, and Tammy and Presley were out in the other room. And 5 minutes into this call, niceties, how you guys doing? Good to meet you, blah, blah, blah. My office door opens up and Presley walks in, and I'm like, what is going on here? And she taps me on the shoulder, and I'm like, hey guys, can you hold on just a second? I've got my 4-year-old here. I said, sweetheart, what's wrong? She says, Daddy, I need to go potty. And I'm like, all right, guys, this is how this is going to go. I am sorry. So I'm sitting here trying to have a conversation with them with my face in the mic, trying to get her clothes undressed and still have the conversation, trying to get her. She had a dress on she couldn't get off by herself. So I'm trying to get her dress off so that she could go to the bathroom. And I'm like, where the hell is Tammy? So apparently Tammy walked to the mailbox, and all this took place when Tammy was gone. Tammy said she came back, found Presley in the bathroom, and went, uh-oh, this is not good. This is not good. So they stuck it out after that conversation. It was I was impressed with their willingness to roll with it, and I think that's the new reality of the world, is that stuff like that's going to happen with kids at home. But so we
go along with that. Sorry to cut you off. Damien's an official podcaster now.
Yes,
because he was on last week's episode.
Last week's episode.
He barged in too last week.
Yeah,
you could hear him call for me.
Yeah, you guys have seen that video of the newscaster, and there's a couple of them. There's one of a man and one of a woman.
I love that video. Yeah. The little girl that comes stomping in, all like super stoked. I love it.
That was Presley today. It was awesome. So the bottom line is that the people in the community have reached out, and once we get a little bit further along in this relationship, we'll have some more conversation, because I really think that they can help us get to the next level. These guys do live streams weekly on a regular basis. They know what they're doing, and all of the little intricacies of making it work are going to be, it's going to be helpful for them to kind of point us in the right direction. And then again, with the horsepower of the computer, Matt and Jose and I were having some conversations, and Jose and I were geeking out on some of this stuff, and Jose was like, Matt was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you, horsepower, CPU processing? What is that? I don't get it. But the computer that computer right there that I was about to build was like 3-4 times more powerful than the one we have. If these guys jump on board, it's going to be even more so. So I'm excited about that, and our ability to do more live streaming with more feeds and do it efficiently.
What I'm concerned with is you start talking about taking the show to the next level. Do they know what level we're at? Because I feel like maybe we're pretty low. Like maybe
Matt, you can only go up from where we're at. So
right, don't tell them that. Like we're in a position of some power and influence. You can't just tell them we've been working off of a Commodore 64. That's no thing.
No, I mean seriously, the machine that we've been using. I built that in 2014 or 15, and at the time, man, it was not a cheap build. I scraped together quite a bit to put that thing together, and it was built to do some gaming. And once I started the show and that kind of stuff, I kind of detached from all the gaming stuff. But everything we've ever done, from a streaming perspective, from live perspective, all that has been on this machine, and it's been great. We're now doing more stuff, and we're going to need more horsepower. So, I'm a nerd, and I like geeking out on some of this stuff. And, I get excited about, working on computers and building computers. And that's another thing for you guys out there. If you can wrench on a vehicle, you can put together a computer. I mean, it's not that difficult. It's actually pretty rewarding and fun to do. And Jose, have you ever built a machine?
I have not, but I have always wanted to build my own. I mean, I built them on configurators.
Yeah,
but I've never actually physically built one.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. The components they only go together one way. As long as you take your time and I
mean, more than ever, it's been the easiest time to build, like, because you can go to these configurators and they'll tell you what parts fit with what other, like, hardware, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you want a specific motherboard, it'll tell you what's compatible. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of foolproof at this point. You kind of just have to have a little bit of common sense, I want to say, right?
Yeah, and it's very much like when you're trying to build up your rig and you're like, okay, what lift kit am I going to use? What tires am I going to use?
Yeah,
so it's the same type of research. And I actually, I mean, I probably had 6 different builds in my Amazon cart, different lists, and part of that was built off of, reading a blog post about, which processors and which, X, Y, and Z does well for this, and which does this, and what pairs with that, to where I got to a point where I kept whittling it down to, within my budget, and I'm super stoked with it, so I will say that
there's obviously going to be a give. Oh, there's always going to be a give and take somewhere.
Yeah,
it's just whatever fits your needs the best.
Yeah, and it's just like when you build your truck. You do what you can at the time, and then there's always going to be a part of you that was like, oh, I wish I would have done this instead. You know what I mean? But there's nothing you can do about that. I'm happy with where we're at. If these guys come on board and we start working with them, and they can provide a little bit more, I don't know, power and capabilities, I'll be super stoked and very, very grateful. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Dude, I've been meaning, so the question I've been wanting to ask you is what kind of truck does that guy drive?
I don't know. We didn't get into that part of it.
Okay.
So my thought is that, because the conversation happened today, it was like super quick, and know, we got right into the nitty gritty, and then there was conversations about parts and this and that, and then so my goal is to, that was kind of the opening conversation, and as we go on, I want to get him out on the trail with us. I want him to go wheeling and do some stuff. But it's going to be a process, and I'm it sounds like these guys are just really on board with supporting people in the community that are trying to build brands and grow an audience on YouTube. And, that's what we're trying to do. But it's, again, I could geek out on computer parts all day long, just like I could on truck parts. And I've got some ideas for the final build to just really make you and Matt super happy with the way it turns out.
So it's going to make me look thinner.
It's going to look
when I'm on TV.
It's going to look awesome.
I'll seem smarter to people. Like, I don't actually have to be smarter, just as long as people like think that I'm smarter and more handsome.
Yeah, I'll do the. I did ask for the graphics card, the GPU that had the trimming feature in it, so I can trace out your body and then shrink
the Brad
it.
Pitt package. Just cut to the chase. Go straight for the Brad Pitt.
Henry Cavill, Henry Cavill, not
card.
Brad Pitt. Your wife wants
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, not
right.
Brad Pitt. Not Brad Pitt. So anyways,
Look, we don't say that name in this podcast.
Don't get all angry.
I'm tired of that name. Yeah.
He who shall not be spoken.
I get it. He works out. I get it.
So yeah, hopefully this all works out, and keep an eye out for some more streaming content and more computer stuff, because I'm excited about it. Next thing I want to talk about is the Icon Lockdown Walkaround. Have you guys seen this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have. It's on Instagram.
It is on the gram.
All over the gram.
All over the gram.
All over the gram.
So for those of you that have not, it is... So Icon is doing what they're calling the lockdown walkaround, and it is an opportunity for you to showcase your vehicle. You submit entries, and you basically walk around your vehicle and show the Icon components that you have, and kind of feature those parts. I told Matt I think he needs to do a walk around and show where the Icon component should be. Like there would be an Icon component right here, but it's...
If I honestly did a walk around in my truck, it'd be the necks and tires, some stickers that I got from like listeners and maybe events, and then some patches inside on my headliner.
What about
That's pretty much it.
What about the seat, the part where the Expedition Overland crew sat? Like, this is where Clay sat.
We could. I could probably do a half hour on that. It'd be all creepy and
It's like, I haven't watched it since.
I can't.
Yeah,
I haven't.
They
You're like, that's the thing. I haven't watched it since.
so
I
Icon
could charge admission. Like, hey, you could sit where they sat.
is it a piece of toast with Clay's face on it? I don't think it's like
no.
The Icon walk around thing. They're putting together a swag pack. It's a Icon bag with some gear, spanner wrench, Schaefer's oil. I think Trigger Controller's got some stuff in there. I did see that Jeremy posted today that they're extending it another week because of the Easter holiday and the rain and everything. People were saying they haven't had a chance to do it. I'm hoping to put one together, but if you...
Dude, how long has it rained? I'm sorry. How long has it rained in SoCal?
Like 5
Pretty much nonstop
days.
for like 5 weeks straight, right?
No, it's been at least 5 straight
5
days.
weeks. There's like a river that constantly runs down parallel to the 15 freeway. It's depressing.
It's been, in a time where we need sunshine and the ability to go out on our patio. It is.
Like, where are you going to go?
Well, no, but
in my pool.
Yeah.
I'd like to go in my pool right now.
Absolutely. But it's been like gloomy and rainy and crappy for at least a week and a half. And it's supposed to warm up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then get cold and rainy again this weekend.
Dude.
It's like we're living in Seattle.
Sucks. No. You know, the only thing that was good with Seattle was the music for a while. But it's just depressing and sucks up there for the most part nowadays.
I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but Nirvana was all right. I don't even really like them. Pearl Jam, nah.
Okay. No, I'm not going to fight you on that. I think Nirvana was they were the tip of the spear, but they weren't no Alice in Chains, dude. I'll tell you that much.
I like the Meat Puppets.
Meat Puppets were good.
I have one of their
Soundgarden was
CDs.
good.
Yeah, the best thing about Nirvana is that the Foo Fighters came out of that. And you see, there was a period of time in which Dave Grohl didn't know if he was going to continue doing music, and he really looked into his soul and started something as a side project. Didn't think it was going to go anywhere. You guys want me to keep
start
going?
reminiscing at the time he was at the concert, and he'll start crying. Dude, how hard were you crying when you were at that concert?
Which one?
The Foo Fighters. How many times have you? All of them. How hard? Which one were you crying the hardest at? When you saw Avengers, the latest Avengers, or a Foo Fighters concert?
Oh no, I definitely.
That's too tough to call.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I definitely cried harder in Avengers. I wept. I bawled, like uncontrollably shaking in Avengers. I teared up and cried at the Foo Fighter concert with my pregnant wife. That was hands down, no doubt. Avengers Endgame.
I cry a lot, but it's just like tears. You're sobbing. Dude.
I sobbed. I had to put my hands over my mouth. To not disturb the 12-year-old sitting behind me. Sobbed. Like it was.
The 12-year-old behind you was like, "Get your shit together,
dude." You're embarrassing yourself. I'll buy you some popcorn to stop crying. So
Will someone get this guy jujube so he stops crying? Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, that was. God, it's so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, no, I'll flat out bald like a sad boy.
Don't say burgers.
Don't say cheeseburgers. Man, damn it. I you know what's funny is I haven't watched it since. I need to.
Oh no!
I've watched parts. Like we watched part of it at your house, Matt, and I've seen I've had parts of it, but I haven't sat down and actually watched the whole thing since.
Do you think you'll cry again at that part?
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty.
You will. I watch it. We control what the kids watch, and that's like one of those like the whole family could watch thing. So we probably watch it. I don't want to say weekly, at least every other week we watch Endgame. It's great. You know, dude, how do you not want to see Captain America when he grabs Mjolnir or whatever, you know, Thor's hammer. And
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Meow, meow, whatever that is.
Meow, meow.
And then he starts whipping ass with it and the shield at the same time. Like he does the combination stuff. Oh, it's great.
Somebody posted that online recently, just the other day, and was like, "We need something to be happy about. Listen to the crowd reaction on opening night."
Oh, that's great. I saw that. That was great. Yeah, so we watch that stuff all the time, like weekly. But I'll tell you what I haven't watched, and I refuse to pay for again, is that damn Star Wars.
Oh my God, are you serious?
The kids bug me.
All right, so I saw it. I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Jose?
I recently saw it. It was good. I liked it.
Oh.
Yes.
I liked it. What was wrong with it? I was looking at him. I don't know what's wrong with this movie. What was wrong with it?
Matt's just is just the guy that is jaded.
It made no sense. So hold on.
Should she have been wearing an apron instead of a?
It would have helped. It would have helped. It wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt. Nobody can die. It wouldn't hurt. But if you have, all right, now this is Matt's movie review. Thank you for showing up. Now, if you had a fleet of Star Destroyers just sitting on a planet, like hovering, they're just sitting there. How long? How long? That's not how. That's like the dumbest thing. You know, in hindsight, if you're the emperor and he's like, man, we should have just launched all of these 2 weeks ago. And then, you know what I'm saying? So stupid, right?
What
there.
about all the people
caught
on
him
those
off guard.
ships?
How much longer? Yeah. How much? That's like that bit. Who built the Star Destroyer? What about the plumbers that were working? What about the electricians? Those poor guys, they weren't done. Look, like I said, you know, they obviously were rebuilding a giant fleet, and they just waited a couple of days too long. Come on, man. That, number one, it just logically doesn't make a lot of sense. And there was so much stuff.
No, I disagree.
I
disagree
remember
because
shaking my head as I'm watching it, like, oh man, come on.
I disagree. It doesn't matter when they sent the fleet out. The sending the fleet out was the catalyst to all of the things that happened. So whether they sent it out a week ago or the week later, all of that still would have been put into motion.
No, except you'd have had all those ships, instead of being bottlenecked to where a bunch of people running around on top of them could blow them up and get into them. They'd be out in space actually tearing shit up, you know, like what they were meant to do. You don't just, hey, we're making a fleet of things and we're just going to keep them underneath, you know, in the atmosphere where people can run around on top and just, I mean, God, dude.
No,
get them in space
movie,
at least and sit them.
Whatever, the movie prior to this one, what was it? The Fallen,
Last Jedi.
Okay. So that one, the whole movie revolved around one of those cruisers chasing the ship, right?
Right. They can't catch it. They can't shoot it.
But it's like, dude, you have lasers, right? Like, they don't have an arc to them. They're shooting arcing laser bombs.
Yeah.
It's like,
laser bombs. Right.
Like,
all right. So this was equally dumb to me.
Arcing laser bombs opens at Coachella next weekend.
Yeah, they'll be.
Yeah. And then Kylo Ren fighting his, like, you know, that vaunted what was his crew?
The Knights of Ren.
The Knights of Ren.
The Knights of Ren. Yeah. They were badass.
Were they? I don't know.
No, they looked cool.
Their asses whooped. They had 2 minutes of their asses getting whooped by Kylo Ren. That was it. There was
that when he had his shirt off?
No.
That was the most random thing. It's like, why is he getting projected with his shirt off?
Why not? You know what? Chicks like movies too, Jose, and some dudes. So
I never said I didn't like it. I never said I didn't like it.
I was say Jose was the one that brought it up.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what, Jose? You're a horrible person. How dare you? Maybe some people would say that was the only good part of that movie.
Some say it's the best.
Right. Exactly.
Oh man.
Exactly.
All right. So enough
Tangent.
enough movie reviews. Speaking of reviews, though, segue. We do have a new review.
Segway alert.
Segue alert.
Segue alert.
Segue alert
Just so
coming.
everybody knows.
Segue coming, everybody.
Segway.
Who wants to read this review?
Oh, Jose wants to read it. I couldn't find it. Send me the link and let's see how long it takes me to find it.
Oh,
Let's try
man.
How much time do we have?
So this one came in from Paisa Runner.
Are we sure that's how it's pronounced?
That's how it's pronounced.
It's not Pizza Runner?
It's not Pisa Runner.
He's
Maybe
not
they
from-
meant to put Z in there. Like maybe they work for Domino's.
Maybe he delivers pizza in his Forerunner.
It's a pizza runner. Yeah.
Yeah, he runs around delivering pizzas. Anyways,
Could be Papa John's.
fun wheeling podcast. These guys are fun with good interviews of people in the industry and on the trail. Almost equal opportunity wheelers, except Fords. My Super Duty can't wait to meet them on the trail one day.
Yeah, that's right, buddy.
If it can meet me
If it
where
can make it to the trail.
Oh, the guy just left
you know
us a review and you're going to dog on him like that, Jose?
Thanks for the 5 stars, by the way. He already gave it to us. We're good.
Oh, can he go back and
can't change it now.
you can't go back and take it out? No, you can't. Okay,
No,
well,
I
as
don't
long
think
as
you can. No, we're good.
all right.
I was gonna say I don't think you can get to where the frontier's been, but you know that Jose went straight towards. I don't think he can make it to the trail and just clowned my clown like tenfold. I got punked by Jose.
You guys suck. I think he's cool. Thank you, Paisa Runner.
Pizza.
I still don't. Yeah, I still don't think that's right. I still don't think Paisa's right. Okay.
It is.
All right, I'll trust you. I don't know. I don't speak Italian.
No.
Whatever that language is.
What were you going to say prior to that?
I was
French.
I
What
was,
were you going to say originally?
I don't know. I didn't know what language that was. It seems like the leaning tower of Pisa. That's what it seems like to me.
I thought you were going to say I don't
Good-
speak Mexican.
good-
You know, Mexicans
good-
not
No,
allowed.
I speak some
Nice
Mexican.
recovery.
I speak
Nice
some Mexican.
recovery. You got the wrench out and everything.
I can speak some Mexican. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, we do have a couple voicemails. Let's start one. Hopefully I'm assuming the people online can hear it. We'll find out.
Hey guys, this is Elaine Easy from Instagram. Just finished listening to the latest podcast, the cool podcast. Kind of sucks we weren't able to interact with you guys. The government didn't want us to share all that awesomeness and inside information. Just wanted to say great work. It was cool to have everybody there. I don't know if you guys can hear me because I'm over here being an essential, working right here next to the concrete truck. But if you can, then cool. If not, then hope you enjoy all the muffled sound.
That was
You know what that sound like? It sounded like in the Batman vs Superman when Flash tried to come from the future and warn Batman, and it's like, look out, he's coming! He's trying to warn Batman. Maybe that guy was coming from the future to record and warn us about
no,
something.
that was Elam. That was Easy Six Deuce.
Yeah.
He was out there working.
I couldn't recognize him because
Oh,
the
no?
echo
He was
and
being
because the
essential.
time. Yeah, because the time stamp limits of time and space, and there's something else.
Time continuum.
Yeah, it's continuum. Thank you.
Well, thank you,
The Matrix.
Elam,
Matrix,
for listening
time,
and for sending the voicemail. And you continue to be essential, sir. We need you. I don't know that I'm essential. We talked about this already, but
What do you think about that? The government wasn't letting us stream.
that's it. Maybe it's what I'm going to say. It was more that I didn't know what I was doing more than anything. You know what I mean? I don't.
All right, you have your take on it.
Yep. We have another voicemail. It's only 17 seconds long and there's no transcript, so we might have to edit this one out. Let's see what happens. Yep, it's just blank sound. Probably someone trying to sell me solar.
Wait, play it backward.
I can't do that. If you want to leave us a voicemail, 951-394-DIRT, and we got that right now, 951-394-DIRT.
Yeah, and if you want to leave us a review, I promise I won't get butthurt if it's a bad one this time.
You didn't get butthurt.
I got butthurt for sure.
Well, I mean, you were hurt, but not butthurt. I mean, you were civil about it.
Did your butt hurt?
Well, that's another discussion we can have later. But but yeah, any review is welcome, bad or good or bad. I mean,
We've always said good or bad.
Good or bad.
Just some kind of interactions, just good.
And that's I think with just internally between the three of us, we've had a lot of conversations about how the show is going now with you guys not being here in the studio. And we recognize that there's differences. It's not the same. The interaction is a little bit different. We've been getting the equipment set up to make it as smooth as possible. I definitely feel like it's getting better, but this is an evolution, right? It's the next phase of what we have to deal with in this current environment. And I think any feedback on that is welcome as well. If someone knows of a better way to do something, for example, our friends that reach out to us about the new computer, we're open to that as well. If there's ideas, if there's content ideas, it doesn't necessarily have to be just a review. It could be your voice helping to develop where the show goes from here, because we're open to those ideas. We've been doing this for a while. We've had some success, but that doesn't mean we're going to continue doing it the same way every time. We're going to try to do new things, and we look forward to hearing your input on that.
Yeah, so call or something.
Call, email,
message or something.
Yeah, review, whatever. So Ilium says, as the only Mexican who listens to the podcast, I can agree with Jose. I would disagree with that. I think there's more than one. There's at least two of you.
Disagreeing with his the Pizza comment. I think he meant pizza.
No.
No. We you guys. He's not the only Hispanic listener. We have plenty.
Yeah, at least four. I'm going to say at least four. At least four. So, I mean, with that, seriously, we are definitely, we appreciate you guys sticking with us when we're doing this kind of stuff. The big live stream didn't go well last week, and you guys still listen to the show. Downloads are still good. I will say that we can talk about that a little bit. I think I can speak for everybody where, when you're not commuting, we're listening to a lot less podcasts than we have, right? That's reflecting in download numbers. I'm seeing that. So if there's a way for us to get the shenanigans in your ear holes when you're not commuting, what's the best way to do that? Provide some feedback. Let us know.
Yeah. Just take your kids, put them in the car, go do some laps, drive around, listen to some Trailchasers.
No, not with the kids in the car.
Let us influence your kids.
Not with the kids in the car.
No,
we don't.
And Cody, we had talked about. I had told you I'd been feeling lately about the show, about how I felt like before the quarantine, stay at home. I felt like we were on such an upward trajectory where with the show, like we had gone, like there was, we had the expo and all the other people we had, the recent guests, and then the show was like just it was going straight up, and then all of a sudden this quarantine happened, and then I feel like the show was like all our momentum has been brought to like a halt. That's just me.
Yeah, no, and I could totally see that. I think momentum in general for a lot of content creators has slowed down because of this, right? With maybe the exception of like the YouTube channels, right? People are now sitting at home watching stuff. They're not driving and listening to stuff, which is part of what we're doing here, is trying to transition. But I think that based on our history through the course of what we've been doing, we have moments where we spike up. We have a great guest or a show that just really hits, or we have a run that goes really well and our numbers go high, and then they plateau back down to the new normal. And then I think we're going to continue seeing that until we get to a point where we've really exceeded our expectations. I think that we've got a lot of room to grow. I think that there's a lot of things we could do better. There's a lot more we can do in the streaming space, in the video space, in that kind of thing. And part of that's the technology that we need to get put together, and part of that's having the time to be able to do it. So I think there's a lot of factors that play into that, and I don't think the momentum is gone. I think it's just shifted.
So what if instead of like looking at my mug on a split screen while we broadcast or whatever on YouTube, we just took my little cube and I took my phone and just showed video of me four-wheeling, because I have like 100 hours of that.
Yeah, but you've got them in 30-second increments. You've got 100 hours in 30-second increments from your windshield.
We'd have to upload like a million videos.
No, don't have to. No, it's just hit play, click, and then that ran out. Even if it was the same one for 3 hours, like the same 3-minute clip of like me driving the Frontier, it's better than just looking at me, right?
No,
nobody's watching.
No, nothing's better than looking at you.
See me.
Well, so in that regard, we've talked about this before. We have thousands of hours of content to make videos from. I think getting a new machine that has more processing power and being able to split some of that workload and having some downtime, maybe we can get some more videos out that may not or aren't timely. But we have videos from the ranch. We have videos from the Ocotillo Wells trip. We have videos from the install on my Icon kit. We have videos
of my install.
Yeah, videos of your install. It's just a matter, I think, of getting them clipped together and published. Yeah. So we can do that. I think we have the opportunity to do that. And we've thrown it out there. It's funny. We've talked about anybody that wants to edit videos that's interested in a project, and we never get any feedback on that.
No. I don't even know if I want to meet the person that wants to edit our videos. There's probably something wrong with that. Yeah, right?
Depends on which videos you send them, Matt.
Oh. That's true.
All right. So what's next? What do we got coming up?
A lot of nothing. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna do a secret run, and just four-wheel the truck someday. I'll tell Monty that I'm working late, and then I'll just go hit up like Azusa Canyon or something. And four-wheel for a few hours, that's bad though, right?
You're not going to get in Azusa Canyon.
Nah, yeah. So,
are you doubting the Renegade?
I'm saying Azusa Canyon's closed. I'm saying it's closed.
Whoa.
So there's a lot of discussion going on in forums right now about like BLM land being closed or just restricted, right? It doesn't actually say that it's closed. It just says it's limited to overnight. Like you can't camp there. But if you're responsible, you can go on to the BLM land.
Yeah, I see people wheeling.
So that means no mat
all the time.
Yeah. So if you're socially responsible, but the rub is like getting to the trail is like if you should be sheltering at home. So technically, like you're not following the rules by driving to the trail. So I'm
essential work, but my essentially that's it.
Your sanity's not essential.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what if that's the only way I can get to work is if I can blow off some steam on some trails. No. In my truck, not talking to nobody, not breathing on anybody. All right, I'm not doing it. I just the way Cody was shaking his head at me from the interwebs.
I don't know.
I'll go with you again.
Shut up, Jose. You're blowing it.
Yeah, winkety wink wink.
You blew it. Damn it. The backlash is coming.
Oh man. No joke,
There's
dude.
no backlash, dude.
I'm telling you, no joke. That's part of why we're doing this remote. The three of us talked about whether or not they should come to the house and work in the studio, but I want to protect the girls, and I do believe that there would be backlash if you guys were here.
What if I was wearing a face mask?
Yeah. What? Well, wait.
Well, you and Jose aren't sitting
Like,
6
why is
feet
there
apart.
a zipper on that thing?
Oh no.
And who's Zed?
Oh, I was just gonna say, was that Pulp Fiction? The Bruce Willis? Yeah.
Zed's dead.
Zed's dead.
Oh man. Yeah, you would see. That's why they're not here. That's why Jose's not in the
I
room.
have a coronavirus approved uniform I can bring to the studio.
No.
Can you?
You guys. Oh man. This is already a random episode. You guys are killing it. I don't know, Matt. I don't know what the answer is. We've talked about it multiple times, and I don't know. I think for me, I'm taking the more cautious approach of, because the difference is you guys are out and about every day. You guys are already out. I'm only going out when absolutely necessary. Like I went to one job walk last week, and while I was out, I stopped at the grocery store on the way home. That's it. That's the only time I left the house.
Well, that's where you see it the worst. That's where there's two things. There's the lack of traffic. That's like, wow, this is totally different. And then when you go to the store and you see everybody walking around, they have masks on, and the shelves are still, pretty bare. They're pretty. It's rare. It's still pretty odd to walk into a store and go, God, oh well, the toilet paper aisle is still cleared out.
Yep.
And there's still only the beef or the bacon and mushroom soup is the only thing they got in. Like, man, that sucks. Other than that, yeah, man, I'm still out at work every day. The 6 to 4, my work hours really, they haven't changed. Well, I have to wear a mask in the office now, which seems so stupid. But life kind of goes on. So if I were either laid off or had a job where I had to work from home, then it would still seem like pretty severe to me.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, I still spend a lot of time in my an hour, just over an hour a day now, which is insane. That's to and fro work. But I still spend time in my truck, and I still think of it as, well, if I spend it on the highway, what's the difference in that if I'm wheeling around having fun in it?
I'm the same way. I got to put gas in my truck.
Either way, I still got to do it.
I still go to the store. I mean, dude, you go to the store, there's tons of people in there. I mean, yes, they're wearing face masks and stuff, but I think
which makes it hard to identify the zombies, to be honest with you. Like, you can't tell. Is that person I'm waiting for zombie apocalypse. We're either getting zombie apocalypse or Thunderdome.
I was at Sam's Club on Saturday, and dude, it's like, shame on you if you don't have a face mask. You're the weird one if you don't have a face mask.
Yeah, and that's so funny. When this first started, I went to the grocery store, and I remember thinking, there was about 20% of the people there that had face masks, and now it's the exact opposite.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the looks you get, like, who the F are you? Yeah. Where's your mask? Where's your mask, asshole? Like, oh, man, you run back to your truck. I did that. I went to CVS last weekend, and I've been using my Icon. What is it? The Gator?
The Net Gator thing?
Yeah, the Net Gator.
That's been my thing when I'm out in public.
Okay, but
I forgot to put it on, And
when's the last time you washed that thing, Matt?
Oh, you can wash it?
Because if you're not washing it regularly, then there's absolutely no point in you wearing a mask.
Well, then try and explain that to people. Like, look, everybody, I haven't watched this in weeks. There's no point to me even wearing it.
I went to 7-Eleven this morning. They wouldn't let you in if you. I didn't have my mask on. They're like, you need to have your mask on. So I had to go.
That was because they just didn't want to see your face. They did not. They were like, "Whoa, dude."
Like, Corona has we just can't. We can't scare all the other customers. You need your mask. But no, I don't know. I think it's just crazy to me how everyone is like, the majority of people are like doing what they're supposed to do to be socially responsible. Like, everybody, like at the gas stations, they're either, a lot of people have gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people have face masks. And like at Costco, I put gas at Costco. There's someone just walking around like spraying all the handles down with like disinfectant, and it's like everywhere you go, it always smells like Lysol because everything is getting sprayed down.
They're gonna call this the Lysol conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't even want to get started on all the different like social media conspiracy things. I sent you guys that post where there was that group that will remain nameless that posted something about marching on City Hall and marching out in public and, you know, fight the man, essentially, that like this weekend go do this. And I was just like, I really wanted to respond, but we've talked about this before. Is when you get into a pissing match with someone online, you both end up smelling like pee, and it just wasn't worth it. And it still floors me to see some of that activity, like those things that you know. And I'm not going to fall on either side. It's just I feel like, you know, social responsibility and taking care of my family and making sure that I don't get anybody else's family sick or whatever just seems like it's, you know, it's the right thing to do right now. And, you know, whatever level that is to, you know, to your interpretation is up to you. But, you know, the idea of trying to incite people to go out into public in mass groups right now,
that's irresponsible.
Exactly. That was
completely agree.
That was the thing. It was it was a large page that had a lot of followers, and it just felt like a very irresponsible stance. Even if personally they felt that way, it seemed like the wrong message to send at this time on social media. And you know, maybe there are people out there that don't agree with me. I just feel like it was a bad idea.
You know, so you know, I'm currently on a project for a large hospital conglomerate. I don't know if I can say or whether I should, but so I am working for a very large project at a functioning hospital right now. And when this all first started, I thought, oh, there's no way they're going to continue with this project. I'm going to get shut down. But they've actually considered us essential. We're an asset on the campus to keep us around and basically keep the project going. Whatever. So we're getting these emails that, you know, basically, if you just limited your access to the public by 50%, and they showed a graph, and it's like this affects 30 days later, rather than you affecting on your normal day 300 400 people a month from now, you would cut it down to 30 if you just you know, because again, it's like it's not that's the way the math works. It spreads out like a branch or a tree. You know, you infect people, it makes a big impact. To even if you just saw one less person a day, that would affect, you know, hundreds less 2 or 3 months from now. And when you see it presented that way, that's when you kind of got to realize, okay, it's worth it. I believe this math, and I believe that this is something that we should all strive to do. So, yeah, you know, I talk about going out and wheeling because, you know, I want to, and I'm tired of sitting on the weekends. And at night and just watching TV, it sucks. Mm-hmm. But just like we talked about last week, once there's, and I don't know how we're going to get clearance at this point. But once everybody decides to go blow it all, and there's that one person that starts it back up again, God damn it.
Can I put my tinfoil hat on for a second here?
No, do
it. Go ahead. We've got some tinfoil happening in the chat room.
But Matt, so you're working at a hospital right now, right?
Yes.
Is it overwhelmed right now? Is there lines out the door in the emergency room?
Okay, no, but I haven't been there. It's been over a week since I was on the hospital campus. Mm-hmm. Our office, you know, because this is a 5-year project, so we're not on the campus.
Yeah, you're off site, right?
We're a mile away. But I do have to go in there, and they do. It's restricted access. You can't You can't bring your family in. So the weird thing is when you walk in, waiting outside, like in the courtyards and whatever, just outside, the one or two access points into the building or multiple buildings, there is, a fair, like an abnormal amount of people, maybe in the 20s, but it's weird seeing people making use of like the benches that I ain't never seen nobody sit in that bench, and now they're like sitting there.
Let me ask it this way then.
Okay.
Are there overwhelming
you don't see
like
it.
sick people like the media is portraying?
And I know, well, that's in New York.
Yeah, that's not here.
They're painting a rhetoric like it's all hospitals right now are being overwhelmed. And you just keep hearing all these stories of doctors and nurses saying like, dude, we have to send some people home because it's that slow.
Yeah, I think it's
they're all anecdotes for sure.
Yeah, I think it's 100% based on the level of infection in that specific geographic territory. And Southern California has not been hit. I mean, not to the extent of the East Coast, not to the extent of San Francisco,
But two reasons, I think. Obviously in New York, you're on top of each other. There's mass transit. Everybody's takes subways.
It's super dense. It's super dense.
Very dense. Yeah. So if it's going to pop somewhere, that's where it's going to pop. Southern California, you live in your car, and then you make it to your point of, wherever you're at. Like I interact with 5 people a day. It's the same 5 people. And then I get in my car. I'm not taking a bus home or whatever. So that's a big thing. And I think California was like on the forefront.
Yes.
In as far as being able to react to, we got out in front of it very early before, as far as a large state is concerned, and shut it down. And it was like, I think making or taking Italy as an example, like,
yes.
Do you see what's happening here? This is happening. Like it's bubbling around the planet. We got to shut this down. And so we did. And same thing with, I think Washington's done a pretty good job, Northern California, whatever. And it's just geographically just way different. We're not going to, it's kind of, I don't think it's fair or accurate to compare East Coast to West Coast. And I think, again, LA specifically being such a sprawl, there's no, we don't have mass transit. So that's made a big impact on but I do know, I had a meeting last weekend, and I know how many people were infected because I asked the head infectious disease person at the campus because we had a meeting or whatever, and it was a lot less than I thought, and that made me feel better. It was like, okay, good.
Well, and
I'm glad to hear it.
If I'm going to add to that, I think going back to what Matt was saying is there's models around the world that we've been able to see what happens when people don't do social distancing, right? Italy, the Asian countries, New York. I am totally good. This is 100% my opinion, my personal opinion. I am totally good with saying, okay, we are on quarantine, social distancing, lockdown for a month, and I recognize that there are ramifications to that. There are economic, personal ramifications to that, and I'm not saying that one outweighs the other, and we're starting to get down a really political path, but. For me, Jose, going back to your point about the hospitals aren't overwhelmed, that's great. That means that what we're doing is working. We have seen in other parts of the world that if we don't do something, then they will be overrun, right? So we will never, after this is all over, there's going to be all kinds of conversations about comparing the models to the actuals and were they trying to scare us? And we don't know. We won't ever know what the right answer is to that.
We're never going to find out what the truth is.
No.
I mean, there's always two sides of the story, and then there's the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The problem is no matter what side of the fence you're on, whether this is a conspiracy or not, you're going to find support and information to support your cause. And I think that's the problem. There's so much information out there that you're going to have. Whatever your bias.
Here's the thing. the virus don't care about your political views or beliefs.
No,
I believe that to be the fact. People are dying. We're trying to limit that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why we're all, it works better if we all commit, if we all buy in on it.
And I agree, man. And it's easy for me to say that because my family has been minimally impacted, right? We are in a good position, and the slowdown in work and those kinds of things are not putting us in a position where we have concern, and we're fortunate for that. I recognize that there are other families that aren't in that position, that some families went on furlough for both income makers and what have you. So I that's why I'm trying to disclose that I'm not saying that economic impact is not significant and doesn't outweigh the need for all the other things. What I'm saying is, for me and my family, I am totally good with where we're at right now, making sure that my girls are safe. And then, we'll, if the whole thing is a conspiracy and they're just trying to scare us, great. We'll come out of it in a couple weeks and my family's going to be fine. But there's enough.
Who's they? Like, that's, I don't understand. Like, this is a global thing. You can't, who are you going to blame on over dramatizing what's happening right now? And as far as the economy, it's the damage is done in my view. And it's, it's easy for me to say I'm still working.
Yeah.
I'm still pulling in a check, and I understand that. And so it's easy for me to say, we just got to ride this out.
Yeah.
Now, if I was a server or a bartender or
worked in a hotel or my job site got shut down or whatever, and next thing I'm furloughed, Tammy got furloughed. I mean, so that this is a direct impact for you, whether your family was sick or not. It is financially impacting you. Oh, yeah, no.
At this point, it is. I don't want to say it is what it is, but we're paying that price financially. We should just ride it till the scientists and the doctors that Fauci and all these people are saying, this is just what we got to do. Mm-hmm. If it's not as bad as it seems, then thank God we caught it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Thank God we caught it in time to limit the damage.
Yep. I don't want to throw a medical distress on top of economic.
So for me, it's I just want to make it clear. Like, obviously, we're super lucky. We're still working. Like, we haven't, like Matt said, we're still working. We haven't. I know Cody, Tammy has been furloughed for sure, but other than that, we haven't been really impacted by this. But for me, all I'm saying is that I don't even know what to believe anymore because there's so much, shit in the air.
Yeah.
But for me, I rather play it safe as well. So that's why I wear the mask when I'm out in public and at work. Because I'd rather be safe than sorry, right? I mean, I could totally be like, to me, it doesn't make sense about just the reaction of what's going on to the cause, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know the severity of it because it hasn't directly impacted me. So just like everyone else, I'm going to practice social distancing just like everyone else. I'll wear my face mask in public. It doesn't hurt me to do all that stuff. It's one step that I got to do. Who cares? And I definitely don't want my son to, my family, my son and my wife. I don't want to bring it home to them.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you added your Letty in there because I wouldn't want her to come in there and slam you.
Nothing will ever.
There's no virus.
More than a virus to take her out.
There is no virus known to man that will take her down. She will just will herself.
COVID 48 in on her.
Nope.
Yeah, when COVID 50 comes around. No, but it's just to me. I don't know what the truth is. I love messing around, putting my tinfoil hat on and everything. It's entertaining, but to me, I don't know what the truth is, but I will definitely play safe than sorry.
Yeah, and I'm with you 100%, Jose. There's anywhere you look, there is a confirming opinion that will match what you either currently believe or want to believe, right? So that's not just coronavirus. That's with everything in the world. You pick a topic in today's world and you can find a confirming blog that will tell you that.
You know what it feels like though? Like how I just said earlier, how you're kind of getting used to some of the shelves in the store being not stocked. And even when you walk in, I noticed at the Vons by my house, like they don't have the plethora of like fresh things when you walk in the door. Like that's all visible. And now you've just kind of like, I don't want to say gotten used to it. It's still weird, but now there's one line for all the aisles, you know, when you're checking out. At least I saw that this weekend for the first time. So there's it's like a slow downgrade. And all I'm saying is like one day, I think it's going to get to the point like, I think that's a freaking zombie, like right there on the side of the road. Like, well, and then 2 weeks later, like, oh yeah, well, there's a few more zombies wandering around.
Like Shaun of the Dead.
Yes.
Oh, you total Shaun of the Dead. You got to bop him in the head. You got to bop him in the head.
Zombies are keeping me from getting to work on time. I'm so tired of. Do you remember not having zombies around? You know, is that the scale we're on right now?
Okay,
it's just slowly.
If it's Shaun of the Dead zombies, I'm in. Like that's the best case scenario.
If it's 28 days later.
Yeah, if it's 28 days later or
Cody,
World War Z.
You're for sure.
Yeah.
Make sure to notate this time frame, Cody. You're totally because you're too angry.
Damn it.
You got too bad Achilles, bro.
Dude, you know what's sad about that is I used to be able to run, dude. I used to be fast and I used to be able to run, and now I just be like, look, let's get this over with.
I don't think he could outrun the Shaun of the Dead zombies either, to be honest with you. I think he's half Shaun of the Dead, like below the waist.
But yeah, we get those 28 days later zombies. I'm screwed, dude.
The World War Z,
the World War Z ones. Those are legit.
Those are bad too.
Were the I Am Legend, were those zombies or vampires?
They were
zombies.
They were like intelligent zombies.
They couldn't come out in the daytime though.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Were they vampires or zombies?
They were intelligent zombie vampires.
Okay. Yeah. We don't want those. We don't want those ones at all.
They were zampires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zompires.
Vampies.
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 Which see what
Vampies. You know what? I like that one. Vampies.
Okay, we don't want Vampies bad. We want Shaun of the Dead.
You want Shaun of the Dead. I'll even take the Walking Dead zombies.
Those are gross.
Yeah, they're gory. They're slow, but God, they're like relentless and gory and yucky. They're just
put it this way. I'll take any other zombie but the 28 days later or World War Z.
Or Vampies. Or the Vampies.
Or the Vampies, yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
We
want the vampires.
We need to do with the next blog post is rating the preference of zombies from best to worst. Like,
there's no rating needed. Everybody agrees they don't want vampies. You just keep those vampies away from me.
Did you hear about Matt? Did you hear about Matt? He got the vampies.
The vampies. Oh,
are they gonna try to fix it? No, there's nothing they can do. He's too far gone.
There's nothing. It's over.
Oh crap.
The vampies got him.
All right. I have no idea. How long this episode is because we had a lot of recording beforehand. So we're gonna. I think we've exhausted anything remotely close to a topic.
The Defender, and we ended up with Vampies.
Yes. Ooh, the 2021 Defender Land Rover Vampy.
Get your Vampies looked at.
Remember, don't. What am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
Podcast
again?
No, I forgot.
Timestamp. Timestamp. Jose.
220.
Don't neglect your Vampies. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, guys. Well, for those of you that stuck around for this random on YouTube. Thank you. That was cool. I appreciate it. We had some good input. And we're going to continue doing this next week. We'll do live again. You know, it's possible we could be on the new machine. You know, it's possible to have the new computer built by then.
Make sure you wear a static bracelet when you're assembling that thing.
Yes. I was gonna film it. I'm gonna move you guys' monitors on this side of the desk, and kind of set up a workstation over there on that side, and then I can use.
Does this have to be part of the show now? Like he's like a character. This whatever machine you're building.
He will be. Trust me. I got plans for him. But I'm gonna remove this stuff on this side. I'm gonna kind of try to film the install for using this camera and my handheld, and try to put something together. Because I think if everything goes well, it's gonna be a really cool machine. You know, based on the feedback I got. So I'm excited. You know, and again, I'm nerding out about it, but. We'll do that. I do want to do an Icon lockdown walk around, and get something clipped together for that. You've got, I think, a week from Friday, and so 2 weeks, a week from this Friday, right? Wasn't it? Originally, it was going to be the 17th, and they've pushed it out a week. So get your input for that. If you're concerned about, or if you need to know the details, go to the Icon YouTube page, and then go from there. But all right, dudes. Appreciate you hanging out with me again on a Monday night in your studio. And
this is my bedroom.
Yes, I know.
His bedroom as well.
Yes. And then we'll post this up on Thursday like normal and continue putting out content. I would love to be in a position to be able to do more content, like, you know, do a recording on Monday and then another live feed on another day. You know, that just takes time. And, you know, like we've said, we're both still working and all three of us are still working, and it's hard to do all that. So thanks for listening, and tune in next week. We're working on getting some more guests lined up for stuff. And if you've got content or suggestions, please send them to the email, the trailchasers@gmail.com or info@trailchasers.net, or call us and leave us a voicemail, 951-394-DIRT. All right. Did we lose Jose? Jose went away for some reason.
I don't know.
He didn't even wait till the end of the show. He's like, I'm out. So, all right. Well, we're going to stop the recording. Everybody have a great night, and we're going to end the live stream. Thanks for listening.
I'm Presley, and thank you for listening. Thank you to Next and Tire. Thank you to Icon. If you want to be on the show, call 951-394-DIRT. Thank you to Ryan Torino with all of the music.